In today's video, I'm going to explain to you how to get your first dip. So, I explain to you 2 training strategies and training plans to get to your first dip. And at the end, I'm going to explain you how to execute a dip, so the best technique. Firstly, I'll go over the unconventional way. I know right now a lot of people will fucking quit the video, but if you can't do a dip, it's probably because you fucking suck at push-ups. Most people would get upset, but if you get above 20 push-ups, you will instantly unlock your first dip. You don't need all this fancy variation you see online. You see dips negatives, jumping dips, dips with a rubber band. That's all bullshit, really. If you get at least 20 push-ups, you will instantly unlock your first dip. So how do you get to 20 bodyweight push-ups? The training strategy you will be using is EMOM, because to learn a new movement you need to practice it a lot. EMOM allows you to get a lot of practice in a short amount of time. It's literally the best training strategy there is. Let me give you an example. So here is how to progress with EMOM. If let's say your max push-ups is 4 push-ups, you'll take the half, which is 2, and you will start at 10 minutes. Every minute you do 2 push-ups, which allow you to get a total of 20 reps, even though you couldn't do more than 4 reps. And this workout, you repeat it every 7 days, and you try to add 5 minutes of EMOM every workout, which here would be 10 times 2 for the first workout, 50 times 2 for the second one, 20 times 2, and so on, till you get to 30 times 2, and at that time, cut the time in half and add 1 more rep. So if you did 30 times 2, you add 1 more rep and cut the time in half. So if you did 30 times 2, you'll do 15 times 3 and progress till you get to 30 times 3, and so on. And if you get to 20 times 4, you should get 20 reps body weight in one set if you try your max reps. Let me show you some variation you can do if you already have some decent strength, but you need to a bit practice the exercise and dips are a bit too hard for you. The first exercise is the rubber band dips. Mine gives really a lot of resistance, but you can find also smaller rubber bands. So you can also, if you absolutely want the dip and you don't care about anything about strength, you could just skip the push-up and do these rubber band dips. You just take a rubber band, put it like this, your feet onto the rubber band, and if you're already strong enough and want to attempt and you are really close to achieve your first dip, you can also use negative dips. You just go up and slowly down. Now let's see what a proper dip looks like. So at first, what is a dip? Dip is a push-up but with your feet hanging, and a dip is a dip if your real delt is at least under your elbow. So that's a bit more than 90 degrees. If you only hit 90 degrees but your real delt is about your elbow, it is no rep. And your hip needs to go below the parallel bars, which if you have a weighted belt like me on competition, it is like the lower part, this part of the dip of the belt needs to go below the bars. So if you have these 2 parameters, your dip is valid. But dips may feel uncomfortable for a lot of people. They have often pain in the shoulders, and in the elbow, and dips are also very injury prone. But here is a few cues you need to pay attention to avoid those pains. So you probably see bodybuilders doing the dips like this. And those dips are really great for muscle building because you open your chest and have a lot of strain and stretch onto your chest and frontals. But if you're talking about strength, we don't want that much stretch because stretch is very dangerous. It can cause injuries. So in street lifting, you'll likely protract your scapulas like this to make sure your chest doesn't stretch that much and your real delts. This is when you're retracted and this is protracted. If you dip like this, you see there's much less strain on the chest and real delts. That's the first thing you want to pay attention to. So if you feel some pains, you could protract more. But there are some people that like also retracting. It's very individual, but the general rule is that you want to protract. Some guys really protract, but some prefer some neutral position. Also, your whole body isn't as thick. In bodybuilding, you're like this and your whole body is like a stick and your feet go forward and backward like this. In the street lifting dip, your feet and upper body are two different things. Your feet really, this is real bad when they do this. Your feet needs to go up and down. So to do that, when you go down, you have to crunch a bit forward. So in bodybuilding, the feet also follow that. But in street lifting, we don't want that because you don't want the weight to do like that, and then you'll lose balance, which is really important in heavy dips. So what you'll do is that at the beginning of the dip, you're straight and going down, you crunch so that the weight stays at the same place and go up and down in a straight line. Also for equipment, I brought my dip bars, but normally they're higher, and this is really important because you really want the weight to be down, because if you need to bend your knees and have the weight hanging right here, once the weight starts getting really heavy, it's harder to balance, you know. If the lowest the weight is, the easier it is to balance it, and it will be much harder to lose balance.